Greetings, fellow survivors. Madstone here, and welcome back to No One Survived, Season 3, Redo. Well, what does that mean? Well, as you saw in the first 3 episodes, especially the Horde night and everything, I was feeling a little under pressure, maybe even overwhelmed. I think I kind of went overboard with the settings, trying to kind of fall into that hardcore setting. I kind of went beyond the scope of where I wanted to be and where I was comfortable, including the Horde night, which I did a poll on, and it pretty much went the direction I was hoping it would, personally, that everybody prefers, or not everybody, but, you know, is fine with me just sticking to the true hardcore survival type playthrough, and that's really what I like to do with this particular game. And my main thing about the Horde night was it doesn't really have a purpose reward-wise. There's no risk-reward element to it currently in the game. It's strictly just an event that you can do, but there's no, you know, reward for doing it. There's no, you know, reason really, and it's pretty much a time and a resource sink at this time. So we're just going to get past that. I also wanted to go ahead and re-roll the character. Some of the traits that I was messing around with, they didn't seem to do what they were supposed to do. Either they did nothing or they did negative of what I thought they would do. And I thought, well, you know what? I need to play the game the way I normally play and be happy playing it. And that's what people, you know, a lot of people in the community actually said, hey, you know, if you're not having fun, you know, don't just force yourself to play the game to make us happy. You know, if you're happy, we're happy, kind of thing. So I'm glad I got that feedback. And let's jump right in. Let's get a new character going. We're going to go back through. I spent a little time this time because obviously the other problem was when the patches came out, the 7576 patch, I didn't have much time to even learn all these new things. So I spent a little time going through the list of all the new attributes and so forth. So I'm going to keep this part simple. I'm just going to change the hairstyle real quick. There we go. We're going to go to General. Now, of course, if you do or don't know about the new patch, there's a body type that actually has effects to your stats. So if you look down here, these will change. So definitely pay attention to those. I'm just going to go with the middle. We'll call it body type 3 because that way it's all 0, and I'm good with that. And I think I'm going to turn this down so he's not all shiny. And I think we're good there. It's good enough. Now what we're going to do is we're going to drop down to the professions. They've added these professions here, and they kind of have built in, like this one gives you plus 25 gun condition, start off with clothing. So definitely go through those also. I'm jumping to the porter because I like to do a lot of craft and build and looting. I want to go ahead and get that extra carry weight. And also we're going to get 4 points that we can spend on attributes, and we'll go over that more here in just a second. So we're going to go back to attributes. Now, as part of the survival part of the game, you know, kind of sticking to that hardcore survival theme, we're going to pick some negative traits in here that are going to make things a little more difficult for us over time. So we're going to start with the careless. That one's going to make it a little bit longer time to search items. Then we're going to go to weak stomach. That's going to give us a plus 20% chance to get food poisoning. So from spoiled food or older food and dirty water and so forth, you know, there's a higher risk of getting food poisoning. This one's just kind of a freebie. Panic. Well, depends on how you play. I don't use the little preset starter kit. So, what this one does is if you take this one, it'll give you half the food and water, which means you get 1 bottle and 1 can of food instead of 2. So it doesn't hurt me because I don't use it anyway, but we're going to grab that to get these 3 points. And you'll see down here, we're building up points. Positive points when you choose negative, and then negative points when you choose positive items. And the whole idea is you have to either be in a positive or 0 before you can go create the character. You can't have negative points. All right, so let's keep going down the list. We're going to drop down to Pacifist. This is another kind of a freebie one for me. Let's see, Pacifist, because not too worried about this. It slows down you earning experience with firearms. You know, if anybody knows me, I mainly use the bow and the spear for majority of the playthrough. We will get into firearms at some point, especially if we're dealing with large crowds. Now these are the ones that really start to get fun. We're going to go into slow recovery. So if we do get an infection, it's going to take longer for it to run its course. And so we have to be able to maintain our health during that time. Or if we're lucky, we have like an antibiotic shot, then we can recover in full. So we're going to grab that one. That's a big one. That's 6 points there. And the last one's going to be fragile skin. And that's, confusing here. Fragile skin. Here we go. This one gives us a plus 50% chance to bleed. So those are going to be our negatives. So we've got 30 points. And that's a combination of the negative attributes and the 4 points that we got from picking the porter profession. So now we're going to go back and start picking our positives. And these will mostly do with carry weight and movement stuff for helping us get around the map and for looting and collecting materials. So the first one, and actually because we have an extra few points, we're going to get Genius. That's going to give us plus 30% when reading books to help us with learning, unlocking crafting and skills. Then we're going to jump down to Organize. It's not worded properly. It's not actually backpack capacity. It's your personal storage that you start off with and you always have, with or without a backpack. It basically adds an additional row to the bottom so you can carry more items right off the start. It's actually pretty handy. Then we're going to get Fast, so we have a little more movement speed at plus 5. And we're going to drop down here. We're looking for one called Powerful. All right, and this one's going to give us plus 10 carry weight. So now we're up to plus 30 between that and the porter skill we took. And then we're going to drop, we got 2 left here. We're going to be getting Strong, which will give us extra defense. And Very Strong, which is going to give us plus 2 harm, which is plus 2 melee, or plus 2 physical damage. And that should be it. We're 0, so we're good to go. Let's put a name on this guy. Madstone. And everything else I said, I was going to leave that alone. We hit create. And this video is going to be very short. I should have said that in the beginning. I'm just making this to kind of put on the playlist in case anybody wants to know. I'll put a link to it in the next video, episode 4. I didn't want to just bore everybody to death, especially if they're new to the channel. They'll just want to watch the video, not to go through this. But I'll mention, that in the beginning of episode 4. So we're ready to go. We're going to hit single player, confirm, and we're going to go to load game. No, new game, I'm sorry. And this is going to be, well, actually, you know what? Oh. I'll have to edit that out. I just hit the wrong button. Hang on. We'll probably have an awesome start, too. Oh, that would have been not bad. Let's get back to, yeah. All right. I'll clean that up in editing. All right, so we got to go to single player. Confirm. I'm going to go in here and clean out all this stuff real quick. There we go. All right, so now we're going to set up our new redo of season 3. I think that's the word, redo, redux. So we're going to do season 3 redux, redo. And we're going hardcore. Now here's where it gets kind of tricky. Last time I just went crazy and started sliding and picking everything else as far as it would go. And I knew better than that. I should have known better. But let's go through and I'll explain what I'm doing a little more so you get where my mindset is. Obviously, no starter kit. We're not doing Horde Night. I just don't have any use for it personally. Now what we're going to do here, I'm going to go to very strong. And that'll affect the zombies' health and everything. And then I'm going to go with the zombies at three times. I'm not going to... So because I'm doing these two, I'm going to slide this one down to 25%. Because my feeling is I want more targets, you know, and to be rushed as far as by the numbers, but not just overrun by speed. Because when you're playing single player and you take on 5 or 6 zombies at a time, it's pretty much a death sentence. If you got them all cranked up to like 95, like I did last time, I had it 95%. They just came running and you had no control. I mean, they would shoot through your defenses before you even had a chance to fight back. So I like this setup. This is still going to be quite a few. You will see that. The virus death rate, I'll leave it as is. That's just, again, that's how much immunity or how many points you need to get your immunity back up to full versus with the antibody. So anyway, but that's the setting that they recommend for hardcore. And then we're going to leave the year at 40, the days at 45 minutes. I'm going to leave permadeath. And I debate this every time I do this. Last, I think it was season 1, I actually turned it off halfway through because it just was a mess. But this is our gate that makes us not want to die. This is what's going to keep us honest on, you know, doing crazy things, basically keep us from going too crazy and make it to where I have to be a lot more tactical about my approaches to things. So we're going to leave that on for now. If it turns out like season 1 and it gets really bad, we'll look at it again. We're going with rare loot distribution and no respawn on loot. And then we're going to have the merchants are on a 10-day restock. So that's it, guys. I'm going to go ahead and hit confirm. And I'm going to pick up episode 4 where this one leaves off. So we'll see you soon.